tablet of the laws of the Ten Commandments. So until today, we are also using our personal tablets, okay, or what we call our notebooks, where some of the rules and regulations that we are trying to review will be the source of our information. But of course, the picture depicts, of course, the main source of almost all of our ethical code of ethics and responsibilities that we should perform. So, indicative, of course, of the main source of our ethical practice that will guide us on how we carry on our exercise of profession are basically based on what we call codes and ethics. And even rules regulation now in modern times, of course, will provide us the assistance, guidance on how to act and decide on matters pertaining particularly to the real estate service practice profession. So let's take a look at it one by one and probably expand and more importantly to appreciate exactly what is really the meaning of the code, ethics, and more importantly, the responsibility. No? And how it will impact on our exercise of our real estate service practice profession. Okay? So let us probably work on it slowly so that we can probably absorb well and understand what is the meaning of the terms, the words that will cut across our presentation of the slides to better understand what really is the code of ethics and the different responsibilities to stakeholders in the real estate service practice profession or as an industry or as a business. So moving on to the next slide, as I had ventilated already on the picture of Moses, which depicts, of course, what probably comes into your mind that there is really something that is called from the past, hmm, historical codes that we need to learn. What is then the definition of the code of ethics? The code of ethics is actually a set of principles, conduct within an organization, and that will guide us in our decision making and our behavior on how we perform, of course, the real estate service practice. We always keep on referring it as this code of ethics will definitely be applied to our exercise of profession. So remember, code of ethics are also set of principles, which is true. Because in real estate appraisal, I will tell you that these are part of the examination that will come out. There are about 11 principles in the subject of appraisal that will provide us the guidance and the decision on how to act, behave, and conduct our appraisal. Examples of principles. The principles of change. Today evolved out of yesterday and is the shadow of tomorrow. The principle of anticipation, the present worth of future benefits. The principle of substitution. Why will a prudent man rent out at a higher rent if he can rent at a lower rental expense? And the other principle of appraisal, which is externalities or those factors that would affect probably values of properties that are outside of the property, like the surroundings, the neighborhood, and the type of developments surrounding or nearby or within the subdivision or within a periphery of about 100 or 200 meters where the property is located. And other principles like the principle of what we call progression. What do you think is progression as a principle in appraisal? Principle of progression says, so we will be hitting two birds at the same time. We give examples of principles applied in the real estate profession in appraisal. So principle of progression, meaning to say the values of properties are affected by the developments of better improved properties. If your property is a raw land that used to be barren land or unproductive land, and you develop it into commercial business hub, then definitely it will yield higher value. That's the principle of progression. The presence of superior quality of improvements and developments will enhance the values of property. So that's one principle. And the principle of regression opposite the principle of progression. Regression meaning to say if your property is closest to squatter prone areas or what we call flood prone areas adversely affected or along the home or the realest are adversely affected by the presence of many squatters, the values of property tend to be go lower than what is a regular property located in a good neighborhood. So it's always nice to invest in an old house in a good neighborhood rather than buying a mansion in a bad and worse neighborhood. Isn't it? So that is the explanation. Other principles in brokerage. Okay. You also need this. Principles in marketing, in selling real estate properties. Principles in accounting that will be needed to provide guidance for the accountants on how they will act, decide, and make their behavior in accordance to the principles affecting the exercise of the accounting profession. So those are examples, my dear friends. The purpose of the code is again to provide our members, we as the stakeholders, as I have mentioned, the two concepts of real estate on the right side as a business and on the left side as a profession. So this will give us as stakeholders who are the movers of real estate, brokers, appraisers, consultant, to provide us a guidance on how to act appropriately with relation to our practice of our profession as broker, appraiser, consultant in making the choice of our conduct in our workplace. Ayan, malinaw na po yan. Dapat alam na natin ano ba ang ethics. It's also a principle. Later on, it will expand to further other more explanatory notes to give examples. So members of this organization, like the Real Estate Association organization, they too have their code of conducts and principles that they abide. So the code of ethics to share a dedication to the ethical behavior and adapt the organization principles. So these ethics principles should be adapted. It is a requisite, it is necessary, and probably even mandatory to use these principles. And that includes also the standards of practice. Like we also have again the standards of practice of appraisal, the generally acceptable standards of practice, the generally acceptable valuation and appraisal process, which is a step-by-step procedure to which will guide our decision, analysis, and behavior to come up with our conclusion or opinion of value. So here I have already cited to you explanatory notes on what are ethics. Okay, set of principles, set of standards that we have to follow in the exercise of our practice. My dear friends, let's move on to another definition of the code of conduct. Therefore, a code of conduct is a set of rules. So it includes principles, standards, rules, outlining the responsibilities of a practice for an individual organization. And it is also related concepts include code of ethics and honor codes. Okay, kaya ang foundation honor codes. Like, of course, example of honor codes. The PMA, Philippine Military Academy, the equivalent of the West Point of the Philippine US. In the Philippines, it's PMA, Philippine Military Academy. Death than dishonor. I would rather die than to give dishonor to my country. I would rather hold high integrity rather than to sacrifice, of course, losing my own country. I will hold high the integrity of a cadet officer or a graduate of the Philippine Military Academy or a graduate of West Point. So you see now it's a code of conduct or honor. So those are just examples. So again, the definition of code of conducts are also rules outlining the responsibilities of the practice. But we have a generally acceptable internationally definition in its 2007 International Good Practice and Guidance defining the development of an effective code of conduct for all organizations provided the following working definition. Okay, so this is a summary now of the best definition of what is code of ethics. Are principles, values, standards, or rules of behavior that guide the decision, procedures, and systems of an organization in a way that it contributes to the following: A, welfare of its key stakeholders. When we talk of key stakeholders in the exercise of our profession, we have number one, to our clients, to be responsible, to be guided accordingly on how we are acting in the conduct of appraisal, in the conduct of brokerage, in the conduct of consultancy, and in the conduct of salesmanship. Other stakeholders are the other interrelated or kindred professions like engineers, architects, doctors. Diba? They are part of the stakeholders too, including government, of which we will now be held responsible for our acts as provided for in compliance with Republic Act 9646. So they are all interrelated. Rules, standards, as it says there, that provides behavior and guidance. And more importantly, to respect the rights of all other constituents affected by its operation. Ayun. Ibig sabihin, to take care and responsible. Kaya nga, TRR, you have to be number one. Ano yung unang number one? Mandate ng ano sa ating preamble. The government expects us, di ba? To be trustworthy, to be responsible. Ang sabi ko nga kanina, responsibility carries with it the act of. Yan, responsibility. Responsibility is to respect the rights of others. Ah, respecting elders, respecting the law, and abiding the law and obeying the law is very righteous because it constitutes a good effect on how we will act in our operations or the conduct of our profession. I hope this is very clear now. So remember the summary of the Code of Ethics with Responsibilities includes principles, values, standards, and rules of behavior. So we have completed and given you already examples of the principles, accounting principles, appraisal principles, marketing principles, credit and collection and lending principles, like the requisites. What are the requirements of the lending principles provided for under the General Banking Act? And of course, the qualification requirements like character, capital, collateral, and condition considerations. So values are also important aspects. So we talk of core values. In my personal account of my own values, I hold high honesty and humility as part of my core values of my exercise of the practice of persuasion. Because I believe that honesty and humility are the basic elements of what we call now our being truthful and honest. In short, these are the core elements of all values, and so we have to abide by it. Like, of course, what are the core values of one of the organization where I now belong, just to compare it, even outside of real estate? What are the core values and principles of knighthood, of which we call the Knights of Columbus? Unity, brotherhood. Unity, brotherhood, of course, we have what we call patriotism, and of course, unity. So you see now how important these are. There are also core values in the corporate real estate. One of the big corporation banking in real estate and other conglomerate like San Miguel hold high their corporate values like at BPI. Core values are excellence, concern for people, respect for others' right in other organizations. So you see now how important this definition is for us to know. Allied to our practice of profession is standards, generally acceptable standards in valuation appraisal process, generally accepted accounting standards, which guides and provide us the guidance on how we should act in the preparation of financial statements. And of course, the rules that are being legislated locally and of course national. The rules and regulations that provides, like the lawyers, they have the rules of course and the rules of procedures enshrined as the one that will provide them the guidance. I have been involved already in expropriation cases, and they always invoke the rules of procedures like Section 3, Rule 67, the rules of extrajudicial partition, the rules on estate partition. Okay, so these are rules that we are guided upon to provide us a direction on the action and finally the decisions that will we have to render in the exercise of our real estate service practice profession. They also serve as procedures or importantly a system that will have to be an integral part of the organization that will give a way on how it will contribute to the welfare of those affected and more importantly to the betterment of those who will avail of our services. So if we are better equipped, we know our principles, we know our values as practitioners, we hold high the standards of the practice, and more importantly, following the rules of Republic Act 9646, particularly in the Code of Ethics, then we will also be sharing to our stakeholders, our clients, and we become of course, respectable real estate service practice professionals. So I hope with that emphatic about this, that's the only way we can probably remember this as I have given you already actual exposures and experience, examples of these standards principles. The Code of Ethics and Responsibilities for Real Estate Service Practitioner provided for under Section 5 Article 2, Section 35, Article 4, Republic Act 9646, otherwise known as the RESA Law, Real Estate Service Act, the Professional Regulatory Board of Real Estate Service, subject to the approval of the Professional Regulation Commission, hereby adopts and promotes hereunder the National Code of Ethics and responsibilities for the real estate service practice profession. In the preamble, again, it emphasizes again what has been said that real estate service practice is an honorable profession. It's a calling to strive for excellence. So you see now, excellence is a core value, undisputable, and it will lead you to, of course, the performance of what is supposed to be the expectation of our clients and the stakeholders, as we have earlier mentioned. The vital role in social, again, emphasizing back on the preamble, our role in the social, political, economic development and progress of the country by promoting real estate industry, stimulating economic activity, and shall develop and nurture a corps of TRR, technically competent, responsible, and respectable professional whose standards of practice shall be globally competitive. So it again emphasizes on the standards that is globally competitive. So let us not be left alone by our Asian country as we practice real estate. Hopefully, the reciprocity clause for practicing real estate, although we can market there, but we cannot practice and sell properties in the Philippines, in other countries. We can probably invite them to come and invest in our country. That is the way we are supposed to do. But if there will be reciprocal laws that will provide for the opportunity to probably sell in other countries as they will now also be accepted, then we can go for that. These are still studies that are being prepared for. Now, the National Code of Ethics and Responsibilities for Real Estate Service shall be governed by the rule of the conduct. Moving on. Article 1, Scope and Purview of the Code. So, who are covered? Sino-sino ang covered dito? Siyempre, as used in the code for this purpose hereof, the real estate service practice shall embrace and include all the national persons who are performing the acts engaged in the practice of real estate defined in Section 3G of Republic Act 9646, namely CAPS. Oh, consultants, appraisers, assessors, brokers, and salesperson, hereafter referred to as the real estate service practitioners. So remember that composition and scope covers the CABs. Ang dali-dali, di ba? CABs. Memorize nyo na yan. Oh, yan ang pinamemorize ko lang, yung mga acronym para madaling tandaan. Because this will come out. Definitely. I'm definite about it. Real estate service practitioner, CABs. C, consultant, appraisers, assessors, brokers, and salesperson. Sabi nila, sir, paulit-ulit yan ah. Yes, I know. Isn't it? That when you want to learn a song and you don't have to memorize it very hardly, sing the song repeatedly because sabi nga nila, repetition is the mother of all learning. True, isn't it? So let's go for that as part of our probably technique of remembering as we understand the meaning implication of this subject that we are now studying. Article 2. What are now the general provisions and declarations of these principles? So let us take a look at Section 1 of Article 2 on the Declaration of Principles. Real estate service profession is a noble profession, a calling or occupation, and those engaged therein shall abide. Shall abide by, commit and comply with all the laws, standards, decrees, orders, rules, regulation enacted, promulgated by duly constituted government authorities. Which is true. We have already defined codes and code of conduct as rules, regulations, standards, including government legislated, promulgated by the local, national government, constituted government authorities. Senate, Congress are the ones that provide for the rule. In fact, they were the ones who also approved, recommended the upper house and lower house. I was there as a witness to the promulgation as well as there is a stage in the development of laws where they are cross-examined by their fellow senators. I think I forgot the exact term. At one time, it's like a revalida by then Senator Miriam Santiago when he was being questioned by Senator Maceda. Okay, so I was there when we were witnessing, of course, the presentation of Republic Act 9646 in the final version of the Senate version for the approval. Interpolation, I should say. That's the correct term. So truly, rules and regulations legislated in the national, or what we call those that are promulgated by constituted government agencies, Senate, Congress, and of course the local government units in the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, Sangguniang Panlunsod, they also legislate laws pertaining, more importantly, with Republic Act 9646. So we're citing exactly more focused examples on the real estate service profession and the allied government that would be affected and the organization who are the stakeholders. Because government is also a stakeholder. They regulate, they complement, that we see to it that we follow all these rules and regulations. So you see now, Section 1 provides for this. It's a noble profession, a calling, an occupation. O, di ba? Ang occupation. Naalala ko si pambansang kamao. He would like to make the boxing as a profession. Wow, kinarir na. Which is also true. If you only start developing, you see, we have been known worldwide for these acts. In occupation, kasi ginawa niyang hanap buhay, imagine isang suntok lang. 10 to 15 or 30 million ang isang suntok. Bilangin mo ilang suntok, umabot na ng half billion. O, di ba? So, yan ang kanyang interpretation. O, saan po natutunan niya? University of Life. So, you see now how we should also try to remember things that can be in order to align it with the practice of our profession. Because we're talking now, noble profession, business, ang lalaking transaction. And of course, the one who handles this, like us. In my case, as an appraiser, I feel that it is to me a noble profession. It's an act of nationalism for me to render opinion, expert opinion on just compensation, not to deprive the property owners of their rightful payment of just compensation when taken by government, because it is guaranteed under 1937 Constitution as well as our 1987 Constitution that no private property shall be taken by government without payment of just compensation. So I feel very noble to have shared in the decision or contribution of fair, reasonable, just compensation for those properties that have been affected and taken by government, so that the property owners shall also benefit and be paid what is really what we call just, equitable, fair, reasonable, just compensation for properties taken. So those are examples. Moving on to another section 2. The real estate service practitioners, of course, section 3, broker, appraiser, consultant, shall its duties and responsibilities with utmost integrity. Yan. Period. Tama muna, tama. What is the meaning of integrity? Integrity is the kind of respect that you will ever generate so that you will also be respectable. Integrity, the kind of respect that you will ever receive. If you're respected, you high hold your integrity, and so you will never, forever give up or say that you are not responsible for your acts. Responsibility, as I have mentioned a while ago, carries with it the act of accountability, of which you have to be accountable for your actions, your decisions, and for what you have committed and dedicated yourself. Kaya nga sabi ko kanina, I presided over the meeting of the Knights of Columbus as Grand Knight, and I said, responsibility carries with it accountability, and so we have to be responsible for our duties and responsibilities in the exercise of our core values of, number 1, unity, family, brotherhood, and fraternity. Fidelity, sincerity, respect, and courtesy for colleagues in the profession with a behavior proper of a professional. So you see now, the core characters that is necessary in our profession is respect for authority. Courtesy, pagkumbaba at pagbibigay ng kortesiya sa ating mga colleagues in the profession. Respect for fellow practitioners, brokers, appraisers, and even the allied professions like architects, engineers. We need them too, as they need us too. So it's a reciprocal relationship. Camaraderie. Lalabas mamaya yan. So you see now the emphasis of section 2 of practitioners to hold high their utmost, pinakamataas, ha? Again, the real estate service practitioner shall adhere to the strict compliance of the code of ethics, responsibilities with all honesty, good moral conduct, and strong sense of values. So we're using now the definition of code of values. These are values that we hold high. Okay? Core values that I've said. Excellence, concern for people are examples of core values of corporate entities that are now being successful and looked upon with exemplary rendering services for the community and to the entire country. So we also have to be like them. Honesty, they say, is the best policy. I learned this when I was grade 9. Ah, grade 6, I should say. Ngayon na, nabago na kasi. Meron na tayong senior high, junior high, etc. Binago na yung leveling. Grade 1 up to 7, and then after that, grade 6, go to high school, junior high school, senior high school. Ngayon, iniba. Okay? So sabi ko nga, and even the highest officer of the land once said, "Hello, Garci, I am sorry." In short, he was too honest to admit that he also at one time erred and said, "I am sorry." Isn't it true? We cut across these examples in order to see that honesty really is the best policy. And it's also related to what I am saying now. Uh, your silence in itself, your silence in itself, when given the opportunity to tell the truth and be honest, is an act of injustice to you and to those who will be affected. Isn't it? So good moral character is also a showcase of how high our moral and standards of conduct. That we should be strong with the sense of values. The sense of values are the ones that give us strength in the performance of our ethical and professional responsibilities. Okay. Isa-isa, meron akong example, good moral. Kaya nga, ngayon, nung dati, grade school pa rin, going back, meron tayong subject na good manners and right conduct. Anong tawag nila ngayon? GMS? GMS ba? GMRC, good manners and right conduct. Ngayon, meron pa ba yung subject na yan? Wala na nga yung good eh. Parang dinagdagan na ng IN eh. Incomplete, immoral conduct. Oh. So isn't it that we really have to abide by all of this good moral conduct? Kaya nga sabi ko, what I would like you to become successful is to have chicks. What is chicks? Letter C, you should be of good moral character. It's, you should be honest to yourself, to your clients, to all people that cut across your life. More importantly, your clients, to government, and to all that you have served. And letter I, integrity, the kind of respect that you will ever generate. And C, credibility and creativity. And K, for knowledge. And S, to render the most excellent service within the context of high ethical and professional standards. Period. So I hope, my dear friends, empathic about that, that even I try to raise my voice just to give emphasis on why we should really abide by this section 2 as well state service practitioners in the performance of our duties and responsibilities. Moving on to section 3. Sorry. Section 3. It is required to have adequate education, value formation, knowledge, and competence, and expertise in the real estate service. Isa-isahin po natin, meaning to say adequate. That's exactly the reason why the law also provides that we should be graduate of BSREM, bachelor's degree in real estate management. Education, they say, is the catalyst of any nation. And so in order for us to be competitive, to be rendered, and to be respected as kagalang-galang professionals, we have to educate ourselves. And that's the reason why the law so provides value formation. Like when you're getting employed in a corporate entity, there is always a seminar on core value formation. Like one of those that I have attended initially, I will never forget those days when they said, "What's the best value that you can ever give with your name?" And so I said, and until today, I give acronym for my own core values too. Like ROD, I made myself because everything I do is always with a reason. There is always a reason for our action. If there's an action, there's a reason. And if there's a reason, there should be an action. Anong tawag natin dyan? R. My nickname in the value formation seminars, I would say, my name is Rod. R for responsibility and R for reasonable. I always find reason in everything I do in order to defend my position, my ideas, and my principles. And O, for opening my mind to the opportunities to learn more about what I do not know that needs to be educated on, more particularly in the exercise of my profession as broker, appraiser, consultant, by educating myself too. Even if I'm already a graduate of bachelor's degree and have complied with the requirements minimum license of that, I still carried on and pursued my education to learn BSREM, a graduate of Lyceum and a graduate now, of course, of Philippine Christian University, PCU. And added on to finish my post-diploma baccalaureate degree. So it's not to probably show off, but education is a continuous learning process where it will only end when your head is at the level of your toes. So I see people being educated young at that, and I congratulate them and I say, congratulations, you're still young. You will have a better future if you continuously educate yourself in the real estate service as you desire and to have chosen it as your profession, as your vocation, and dedicate your time, your effort on this concern. Formation, knowledge. Knowledge is power. Competence is built on experience, and expertise is the continued practicing of all of this combination of our core values supported by our principles to provide us a guidance in our real estate service practice. Now, the real estate service practitioner shall maintain a professional character and personalities. I have already unloaded that to you, my dear friends. So remember the word chicks. Chicks is character, honesty, integrity, creativity, or you can add more of the adjectives of core value formation. Creativity, and of course, K for knowledge, that's education, and of course, excellent service with the highest degree of ethical and professional standards. Section 4. Again, in the spirit of unity, harmony, camaraderie, cooperation, and professional relation among the practitioners. You just have to remember that we are one. I remember the speech, opening remarks in the presidential address of his inaugural speech of then past president, because he is already out of the service, past president uh, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, when he said in his speech, and I still today remember because of that unity that he was trying to point out, and he said, it is our act of togetherness rather than our act of separation from one another that will make us again a great nation, which is true. Unity manifested in one of the unity of the people's courage and vigilance and unity of the Ukrainian people. They were able to now going and almost to become victorious in their unification in spite of their being small compared to a big superpower, isn't it? And harmony in unity, of course, when you are harmonious, you yourself, when partner, you become strong. And with more group, you become stronger. And if you're united as one, like the bundle of sticks or bundle of coconut ribs, you cannot be able to break that. You see now the exemplary example of harmony. Harmony, camaraderie. Just recently, we have already launched our sports in the Knights of Columbus. I'm sharing this because that is how we would evolve and to become more united, to be harmonious, and to build up our sportsmanship and create and enhance the camaraderie and cooperation among our member organization. So professional relationship among others. So we will now also study the professional requirements of the practice. So you see now section 4 emphasizing on unity, harmony. Section 5. Finally, we have now the summary of the golden rule, which reads, of course, the archaic form of the golden rule would state, do unto others what you want others do unto you. But by the principle of change, it's the same, although it's said in another way. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, shall be observed in all dealings in relation to the practitioners with your clients, your fellow practitioners, the organization where we all belong, the real estate organization where we are now members, and we belong, and more importantly, our responsibility and role in the exercise of profession by way of this principle, golden rule, which says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Gawin mo sa iba ang gusto mong gawin nila sa iyo. It's like karma, which is natural. If you do good, more good will come back to you. What you have planted, you will harvest. If you have planted the seed of unity, you will become united to them, and as they will be united to you. So these are examples, my dear friends, in the context of real estate. Kaya nga, example, joint venture agreement is a combination of two entities or two partners. They're united. And if they become harmonious and they deal with each other with all honesty, in cooperation, then they will succeed. That is the golden rule, my dear friends. So we have to leave that portion. And again, I hope that you will be reminded and you will have copies of this so that read and read and read, because repetition is the mother of all. Questions will be asked and you will not be able to forget it. Article 3 for professional rules of the conduct and responsibilities. Let's take a look at the rules on the conduct of professionalism. Okay. Practitioner, Article 3 of the rules of conduct and responsibilities. The practitioner shall be governed by the following professional rules, conduct, and responsibility. As we have earlier mentioned, all of the about 48 professional practitioners governed and monitored as well as regulated by the Professional Regulation Commission, or we call PRC, or for short, Commission, also have their own rules and conduct of responsibilities. Engineers, architects, nurses, doctors, teachers, and other professions also have their rules of conduct and responsibilities. And so Section 1, our responsibility to government, similar to those other professions allied to real estate, architects, engineers, surveyors. The practitioner shall secure. When you say practitioner, that's also encompassing. Remember that. Don't forget, when you say practitioner, it's for short the what we call CABs. Broker, appraiser, consultant, and salesperson shall secure all the necessary licenses, permits, and authority from the Commission and other government agencies as may be required by law. Ordinance, rules, regulation complying with all the requirements relative to the practice of real estate profession. And it is, isn't it, that before you pass the licensure exam, you have to apply. Pay the necessary application fee and expenses, pay for the certification of your NBI clearance, you have to be and pay expenses. Responsibility to government. You have to pay, of course, your professional fees, PTR with the local government. For me, as an example, I pay 900 pesos, but I always give away the 100 because I'm always called upon whenever my suki cashier at the City of Manila in the cashier's department would say, "How are you, sir?" Ayun pala, parang tinatawag na ako. So alam ko na, be kind and be generous too. Kasi mabilis. Lalo na, of course, pag nakita na, medyo maputi na yung buhok, "Sir, good morning, sir." Yun. That's one way of saying and accommodating. So it's nice to reciprocate by giving something like token. It's not it's not ilagay or what we call this to hasten or accelerate or process immediately. But sometimes we should also share. What we have earned, we have to share. What we have learned, we have to teach, like what I'm doing now. So you see now, when we talk again of our responsibility, payment of PTR, payment of taxes, payment of income tax, we are now in the month of payment of our individual income tax return, corporate income tax. We are now in the tax period. So reminding you again, and of course all of us, responsibility. Pay your renewal of license, pay, of course, all the fees like insurance, coverage for the required performance bond. So those are responsibility to government. And more importantly, if you own a house and lot, pay your real estate tax. Because if you do not pay, your properties will be escheated and you suffer the burden of being foreclosed. Pay your responsibility to your government, local or national. Nobody is exempt from payment of taxes. Two things are certain in life. You pay tax, and all of us will go. We will be either in a condominium kasi baka mamaya 6 feet above the ground, 6 feet below the ground. Double interment. So things like that, remember responsibility to government. I have given you enough example for this so that you can remember. TTG to the government, number one. Yan, TTG. Isn't it easy to remember? Learning is remembering. It is not memorizing. Letter B, the practitioner shall pay any and all professional fees, taxes that are required by law in the practice of real estate. PTR, renewal of license, renewal of our facilitator as lecturer. We always renew every year. But now I was able to avail that I will now be enjoying the 3-year period for the accreditation of a lecturer speaker. Okay? Napakagandang development po yan. And of course, more importantly, pay your taxes, income tax, corporate tax, and more importantly, as brokers, we should pay the correct transfer tax on sale that we are going to perform. Yan. Capital gains tax and documentary stamp tax, and payment of the income tax derived from commission or professional fee. Yan. That is part of our responsibility to government. Remember those examples so you will remember. Learning again is remembering. Letter C, the practitioner shall not encourage, tolerate, nor practice the evasion of illegal reduction in the payment of taxes, fees, or charges that is due. The best example is some would advocate, let us do the deed of absolute sale at the lowest price, which is normally the zonal value. To date, I will tell you frankly, I've been a member of the technical and sub-technical committee, and we have raised the level of those zonal values almost close to market value. And this is updated every 3 years. Your savings will probably be on the date when it has to be amended every 3 years, and you will be lucky If, but do not do that, because whichever is higher is the provision for the payment of transfer tax. If the actual selling price is higher, isn't it that you will be happy, because that will be the basis for your computation of your professional fee. If it's 10 million at 5%, you receive half a million. If you may declare it at half the price, which is the zonal, which is normally 5 million, then you will receive only at 5%, 250, half the commission too, isn't it? But that is part of our professional responsibility to declare, and we should not be a party to the evasion of illegal reduction. Please remember that, my dear friends. Section 2. So we're done with government. We've given you again enough example for you to remember, my dear friends. And this is the only way we can help you work out, for you to remember that in the examination when given, you can now respond to the best answer that is closest to what is supposed to be the correct answer. Section 2, to the public. Ito, what is now the responsibility of practitioners, for short, when we talk again, remember practitioners, broker, appraiser, consultant, seller, shall be imbued with social responsibility and conscience, being part of society with duties and responsibilities for the promotion of common good. Ayan ang sinasabi natin that is truly a Filipino representation of makonsensya ka sana. Meron tayong konsensya na wag po tayong manloko man lamang sa ating kapwa, sa society, sa lipunan, dahil ito ay sang-ayon sa ating responsibilidad na magpakatotoo at magpahayag ng tama para sa kapakanan ng lahat. O, pag di nyo pa naman naintindihan na for the common good of all, sa kapakanan ng lahat. Kasi kung nagbayad ka ng tamang tax, sinong makikinabang? Ang taxpayers, who will also benefit from the road widening from the Skyway to the NLEX to the Suplex to the subway, which is a 34 billion project. Now we will be enjoying in 5 years' time a subway that will be constructed. Ongoing na po. Hopefully, I might also be able to ride on this. So payment of taxes yan, we should not misdeclare. Letter B, to the public again, practitioners shall cooperate with government. Makipagsang-ayon tayo sa gobyerno against public deceit, yung panlilin lang. Ha? Yung pangsisinungalingan ng misrepresentation, hindi nararapat or unfair, relevant information, other related unethical and immoral practice and malpractices of unlicensed and unauthorized real estate service practitioners. Here, we have 2 existing cases just recently with my good friend, a doctor who is a licensed broker too, is the procuring cost, and yet he was again excluded because an unlicensed person has collected the commission of 1.5 and he only gave half 500,000, half a million. Is that not already an act violating Republic Act 9646? It is also an act against the public because it is a deceitful act on the part of the seller and on the part of his fellow practitioner. It's not even a fellow practitioner because he's unlicensed. So we suggested file a case initially with an adverse claim so that it will be put on hold pending your filing of a case for violation of Republic Act 9646, and at the same time, for you not to tolerate the exercise of malpractices that you have encountered and you are privy of it. Otherwise, you will not be able to receive your commission if you don't file a complaint, and with the advice, of course, of some lawyers, it is now in progress. So that's the most recent example. 1.5 million for you to be excluded because of the deceit that is performed by an unlicensed, unauthorized real estate service practitioner. They got the bigger share, 1 million. He gave only 1.5. They're supposed to share 70-30, 60-40 as agreed upon. Okay? Letter C, the practitioner shall endeavor to present the full disclosure pertinent material facts on the subject property, advertisement, brochures, flyers, and press releases, whether tri-media or electronic. Dito po may warning na po ang former HLURB, now DSUD, on the advertisement that they try to standardize, of course, the presentation, that all the license of those who are presented and advertised should also be there. License number, PTR number if necessary, and probably the PRC registration or PIC ID beside, below, or after your names. If you advertise through flyers, press release, including the advertisement like words like it's just one ride away from the nearest mall. Aba, kung sinabi mong one ride, I can make one ride, sit at Peña Francia aircon bus, and after 12 hours, I will be in LA, Legazpi, Albay. That's only one ride, especially for those that are with direct. Direct, non-stop. So that's one ride. Misrepresentation. Yung pala, halimbawa, as appraisers, we always declare more or less the approximate. The utilities, facilities, amenities like malls, schools, churches are within a radius of less than a kilometer. So if you take a look at the map, the flat representation of an Earth surface, you can easily delete, much more so with the technology in with the advent of AI, artificial information technology. Google it and you will just there. You can even measure the exact position and the distance of your property towards this mentioned landmarks that surrounds the property that you're selling. So these are some of those examples that has already been given an action by government regulating agencies. Publication, like of course the calling card, these are simple. We always call the attention of those who say real estate consultant when in fact he's not a real estate consultant because that is the law. There is a law that provides the registration of real estate consultant in the Philippines. And I had my license there. Unfair for those who took the exams, paid their professional fees and PTR. For those who are not who are declaring themselves in calling cards without even the benefit of putting whether they are licensed or not. Section 3 to the clients. So we leave now our responsibility to the public. We now proceed to the clients. More importantly, we hold high our clients because they are our investors that we have to serve. Number one, or letter A, the practitioner in accepting authority listings or assignment. When we talk of assignment, these are the workload that are being given to appraisers. Kaya we call that assignment. It's a generic term for appraisal work done by appraisers or slash valuers. And for in behalf of the client shall be obliged with prudence. Ayan, prudence, pagtitiyaga, integrity, integridad, loyalty, fidelity, and good faith in protecting, promoting the interests of the client without sacrificing legitimate interests of the other party in the transaction, which shall not be contrary to the laws, good morals, and public interest. Napakalinaw po ang ibig sabihin nito. In short, pag tumanggap po tayo ng ATS, Authority to Sell, or listing agreement, it should be something or assignment in the case of appraisal work or job in outsource, we should oblige ourselves to take prudence. Okay? Prudence. Ibig sabihin, mapasensya tayo, mapagkumbaba, or for short, let us humble ourselves and give what is due respect to our sellers kasi sila ang pinanggagalingan ng hanap buhay natin. With integrity, the kind of respect, if you respect them, they will give you the right respect too as a professional. Your loyalty is bound by your agreement that you should be loyal and not to probably become disloyal. Kaya nga, fidelity and good faith in protecting, promoting the interest. Ang kapakanan po ng ating seller, ang una natin, isaalang-alang kung binigyan tayo ng authority. Okay? So if you think you can bargain, maybe you can ask permission. If the seller says, I give you an authority for 10 million and I'm going to give you 5% as your commission. Of course, then you can probably rebut and say, what if there will be an offer like 9 million? Of course, you are duty bound to make and submit to the seller because you owe loyalty to him. And with integrity, you have to show the letter offer that they are bargaining at 9 million. So what if he immediately say, okay, I agree, but that should only be up to 9.5. Aba, maganda na yun. O 9.5, bumaba lang ng ano. Bumalik ka naman, protektahan mo naman yung interest ng client mo by saying, Mr. Buyer, this is what the counter offer and I am as acting for and in behalf, I'm now giving you that this property could be sellable at 9.5. Okay, since you have gotten the respect of your buyer, your client, and as part, then you become now the buying broker and the selling broker. What if it's not? Another broker is the buying broker who would like to negotiate too. So, paano ngayon kung binuyo ka ng buying broker? Di, i-insist mo na walang tawad yan. Insist mo na walang tawad kasi bababa yung commission na paghatian natin. Is that professional? No. That is bordering already a violation of your protecting the interest of your client. Maybe you can negotiate openly between the selling and the buying broker and say, okay, let's be present during the negotiation so all will be transparent. And so if they agree on the issues and concern of counter negotiation, and so be it. But at least you have protected and done your part. Being loyal to your seller, and you are obliged to exercise prudence with the highest degree of integrity and fidelity and to have faith in protecting the interest and not for your interest. Kasi yung interest mo doon, yung kikitain mo na malaki. Kaya nga pag nag-out ka ng office, meron ka sinasabi doon, and not for my personal aggrandizement, hindi sa aking sariling kapakanan, kung hindi sa kapakanan ng nakakarami at lahat ng pagsisilbihan natin. Isn't it? Moving on to another respect for practitioner, shall accept profession or valuable. Okay. Although it is provided for in the professional fee that you have to accept probably professional fee, cash, or other valuable consideration as exempted, except unless the full knowledge of the consent of all the parties. Baka mamaya may nag-negotiate dyan, sasabihin niya, tanggapin mo na yan kasi kaya ko naman buyuin yan, kaya niya magbayad dyan. Well, it depends. So you have to make yourself professional in the acceptance of the acceptable fees when given to you by your client. Practitioners shall charge or collect standard professional fees. Doon po sa appraisal, wala po kaming taripa, but based on benchmark practices like the banks have 3 to 3,000 or now improved to 5,000. And so I bid the minimum of 5,000 per site or property, and if with improvements, additional 1,500 to make it at least 7 for with improvements, ordinary assets. So we have a benchmark. Of course, like the other professions, like the geodetic engineers, they have a set of standards of what we call tarifa. But the benchmark indication for brokers would also in the open market, where what is brokerage, of course, big tickets like 10, 15, 30, 100 million, 3%. For the banks, they go for 3-5%. And of course, for project developments, they always would go for standard. We have to collect as licensed appraisers, brokers, I should say, in a marketing for PD 5957 and BP 220, at this minimum of 5 to maximum of 7%, which is now the benchmark current market practice in the industry today. Okay. So, Section 4, a fellow practitioner. This is one that is more important, our relationship to with our fellow practitioners. that we should not give away documents that are given to us to fellow practitioners of which they are not our partners or practitioners too. Do not outsource or give away property confidential matters like titles, documents, tax declaration to those who are not given the mandate and authority. Except with the authority, assuming that they are cooperating brokers and fellow practitioners, then you make a memorandum of agreement that we are sharing these documents for reasons that you have a buyer. And so, with the permission of our seller, I am acting for in behalf. Let's copy furnish this agreement that we are granted to issue or extend to you authority to sell with some documents to support when you offer to your clients. Practitioners should also coordinate with fellow practitioners. Mag-usap po kayo, relative yung reasonable. Hindi kayo nag-aaway na ano. But normally kasi, if you're both licensed, 50-50 is the standard basic talking points for professional fees. But you have to, of course, render both the services that are fair, reasonable to both of you. Okay? The other one conducts the due diligence. The other one would probably pay for the appraisal fee so that it will be an independent, well-coordinated value for proper information on both your buyers, as he will be your buying broker and at the same time you are the selling broker. So agree on an issue, compensation, and the practice and the what do you call it, services or the documents that will be provided for, including the documentation to complete the transaction. Letter D, practitioner shall not engage in slander, oral defamation, gossip, or criticize publicly a fellow practitioner. Huwag po tayong magmumura, huwag po tayong makikipaggalitan sa kapwa natin fellow practitioner because that is bordering a violation of the Code of Ethics on relationship, camaraderie, brotherhood, and unity among fellow practitioners. Let us not compete competition on the level of destroying the market price in order to make advantage over the other. It's not good. And more importantly, for electronic mails, yung napagpapatutsadahan kayo at you send because of course it's unprofessional, unethical, and it will be damaging to the main integrity of your fellow practitioners. Do not destroy the character, integrity, and reputation of one just for money. And if one's opinion is essentially sought for a common good, practitioners shall render with prudence, truthfulness, and professional integrity to respect fellow. Give the due respect to all practitioners that you cut across and be cautious of safeguarding the latter's human rights too. Practitioners should seek unjust and unfair advantage. Huwag po tayong manlaman. Huwag po tayong tutungtong sa balikat ng iba para ma-attain natin yung gusto natin ma-attain. Bad-mouthing is against. Marites is more importantly, chismis is the worst. I recommend to counter this, Maria. Meron akong reasonable information, reliable, accurate pa. Work on the strength of your evidence that you have the authority to sell, that you are credible, that you're professional, that you have all compliance with what is the mandate of what so-called code of ethics with responsibilities, and that you will succeed. Practitioners shall willingly share and contribute right articles, benefits of fellow practitioners. That's what we're doing. If you have the capacity and ability to write books as reference materials, do it. Excerpts on probably like what I'm doing now, I have tried to share copies, previous exams, and share it to those who are willing to pay for the cost and not to take advantage. I never take advantage. I would always share my skills, my knowledge, my collection of compilation, and you know that, my dear friends. I have shared with you, and I always continuously also pray for you for your continued success. So that's the essence of the provisions of our responsibility to fellow practitioners. Soon to be, you will be my partners in so short a time. We look forward to doing reciprocal business within the context of what we're trying to study now. Ethical and professional, with honor, dignity, and integrity to avoid controversies with fellow practitioners. To the accredited internal integrated professional organization to, of course, become a member and abide by the articles of the provisions of IPO, particularly in Section 34 of Republic Act 9646. So that's a provision for compliance with the accredited integrated professional. Though it has not yet been formed, we are still in the process of trying to have one. Hopefully, in the near future, coming soon, our IPO will now be established. There have been several attempts, but because of the pending um, question on the what do you call this, the true interpretation of what is the law up to the level of Supreme Court. So hopefully, again, we will go back to having an IPO. We look forward to that. The events of controversies between members of accredited integrated shall also be settled in the organization where we all belong. Parang yung tinatawag natin na IBP, Integrated Bar of the Philippines, that is a one national. We too have this provided for in our IPO, Association of Integrated Professional Organization, which shall perform, of course, as provided for in accordance with Section 5, Paragraph C, G of Republic Act 9646. It's implementing rules and regulation. All forms of complaint shall be substantiated with pertinent facts, documents required by law. So do not just probably create situations. Build on the strength of your evidence rather on the weakness of those who are trying to probably file complaints against you, to dislodge you, or to malign discredit you in the exercise of your profession. IPO election officers should also be carried out with commitments with integrity. So all officers of the IPO who are also service practitioners shall put themselves in the highest degree of moral integrity obligation, and they should also be responsible, honorably and selfishly and diligently perform their duties, responsibilities, and not for their self-interest. As usual, of course, much more so when you are appointed as officers of this national organization, you have truly practiced all of the code of ethics and responsibilities that we have earlier studied. Article 4, duties and responsibilities of brokers. Ayan, brokers. Marami po ito, terms and conditions on obligations and commitment are part of the contract that you have signed. Abide by this contract, including, of course, the advertisement of your listing in a proper act of exposing, because sometimes there are limitations to authority not to publish for reasons that is are limitations also imposed by the seller, especially for high-end properties. Written offers and proposals should also be clear with sound judgment and decision, and they should really be, number one, transparent in accordance with agreed terms and conditions. Letter D, of course, when securing listing inventories, you have to get them exclusively listed with another broker is pirating already. Huwag po kayong mamimirata ng mga listing ng iba dahil that is unprofessional in terms of your relationship with other brokers. In accepting listing inventories, the listing broker respect the agreement of the letter until such time. So kung meron kayong listing broker na nauna na, hintayin nyo mag-expire, or if you have buyer, talk to the listing broker. Okay, or you have to wait. Wait for the expiry and then you probably go and apply to the owner as a second broker if you have already clients. Not to transact with any third licensed state vital information. Transmittal of information documents are highly confidential. It is one of our responsibility as appraisers too in the exercise of our profession not to transmit and give away information that has been decided and given for us in rendering our opinion of expert market values on properties. That is unprofessional. Unless with the written consent and approval of the owner, that we too can share whatever the result of our appraisal. But to my mind, of course, whoever requests the appraisal work or the listing agreement, then it should be our duty to be loyal to our property owner, okay, or the requesting party. Not to put signages or notices for sale or rent if it is not authorized. Huwag po tayong maglalagay if that's a limitation of the listing agreement. For real estate appraiser, always use the principle of highest and best use as part of your evaluation. First, to inspect and take a look at the number one, HABO, highest and best use. Highest and best use, it should be legally permissible, physically possible, maximally productive, and it should be the highest return that a property could bring. The highest and best use is always a part of the appraisal process, and it's also a principle. In appraisal, do not accept contingent fee. Huwag po tayong ah, maningil na contingent. I have done a 1.7 billion in a year, just last year, the other year, and I never got more than 100,000 for this. Unlike the broker whose professional fees contingent, we appraisers consultant do not charge fees. It is the day's work and of course the requirement of the job to complete the research, investigation, and to find factual evidence to support our indication or opinion or conclusion of values. And therefore, our fees, because that will be tantamount to bribing you and corrupting you, and that will destroy your main reputation and integrity, and you lose your face. Lamukhang appraiser. O, di ba? Gusto ba natin yun? No way. So again, my dear friends, other engagement beyond your competence is also unrecognized. Kaya kami, nilalagay namin sa appraisal work, we have not conducted an instrumental survey but relied on the survey conducted by geodetic engineers. I'm not a mechanical engineer whose specialization is on the mechanical aspect of the building, and so we hired the cooperation of a mechanical engineer who contributed his expertise on the valuation of the mechanical aspect of the building that I did appraise, and include the biodata, and with reference to his rendering his opinion of value. Not to render opinion on arrangement study without carefully investigating, analyzing, interpreting the forces factors. In short, abide by the standards of the valuation and professional and international valuation standards and generally accepted principles of valuation or appraisal. Ayan po. And to undertake several engagement with the conduct of legal, ethical, and moral. Practitioners shall not act as neutral third party. When rendering balance appraisal report, consulting services, perform the engagement with impartiality, independence, without accommodation of any personal interest that tend to make misleading. Yan po ang nilagay ko sa aking report. That I will never be intimidated or influenced in my opinion or appraisal recommendation of final market value for just compensation, that I have rendered my opinion and I will never be influenced by any personal interest, neither will I be rendering an impartial, but I will have to render an independent, factual, reasonable, fair, and just opinion and conclusion of value. Yun nilalagay natin sa summary at the end of our final certification of valuation. Protect the confidentiality of nature. Ibig sabihin, we are appraisers to have to keep in confidentiality. In fact, our appraisal report should be kept for at least 5 years for reference if there will be questions. Okay, the client has an authorized client in writing. Okay, especially for authority to inspect. Third, parties authorized by law, like of course court and the banks who might probably be engaging our professional services, and of course duly authorized peer. We should not also review them and comment on their engagement or professional opinions of values unless otherwise with their consent. Preserve records. Ayan po sa aming appraiser, mini-maintain namin 5 years at least from date of appraisal to give testimony on practitioners whenever there's a need or question over what we have done. And not to waive interest on the property. In-appraise mo, binenta mo, mali yung nakalagay doon, help you appraise and sell, conflict of interest, you have already. And not to accept appraisals of your immediate relatives within the fourth degree of civil consanguinity. Kasi hindi mo pwedeng hindi, pinsan, taasan mo yan kasi uutang ko sa bangko. Ano bang pinag-usapan natin? Pinsan. Ako, walang pinsan-pinsan yan. Kaya ang ginagawa ko, kung minsan libre pa nga, I better invoke this right. And I cannot do because we are the third degree cousins, and as such, isa pang rason, hindi ka naman gusto mo pan libre, hindi ako pwede dyan. So, a courteous way, have it appraised by another appraiser, and I will refer you to them. Then, they will decline definitely if you're not going to pay. So, therefore, it is an it is a very reasonable, fair excuse for them to understand. So, nakalagay pa dito, pagka mag-anak mo, kasi may influensyahan ka. Not to compromise, endanger the professional engagement by delegating it. Huwag po nating i-outsource sa hindi lisensyado. Katulad ng ginagawa ng iba, kasi investigador din ako. Yung iba, ipagagawa doon sa naniningil ng 1.5, bayaran sila ng 1.5, siningil niya ng 7,000, di kita siya without doing anything, kinopin niya lang, pumirma, lagot ka, ikaw din ang mananagot diyan. So trainees and apprentices are supposed to be part of the collection investigation, but never for them to sign under a contract of agreement in the exercise of appraisal profession practice. It is unethical for professional peer to review. Huwag po natin mag-review, although there are provisions for the review, appraisal, administrative, and what we call the administrative and technical review. But with the consultation and approval of those appraisals that you're going to review, and with the permission of the party who requested appraisal and the appraiser who did it. So kailangan klaro tayo. Section 3, government appraisers are also assessors. They also abide to the conduct of government employees under Republic Act 6713. So they should not be bordering already practicing conflict of interest or sidelining or moonlighting as they are with government. Article 5, practitioner as a person. As a person, of course, practitioner, whether individual or corporate or firm, or a juridical person, of course, shall engage in the practice of real estate profession within the meaning and extent of Republic Act 9646 and its rules and regulation. If he or she, advertise, convey to the public in a manner impressing that his skilled, his knowledge are attuned towards the exercise of this profession, then that would be misrepresentation and that will be a charge against you. To maintain a regular office is also a requirement because the physical presence of your office manifests that you are really in the service on exercise of brokerage, appraisal, or consultancy. It will also be a showcase of how credible you are and how well you can probably serve your clients, because the office is the representation of yourself and how you can deliver the services that is required of your practice. Prepare, signs, and certificate correct professional reports, bids, invoices. So compliance with all of this requirement, fee proposal, engagement proposal, of course, payment of the due taxes due, of course, like professional fees or withholding income tax shall also be paid. And further, it shall also indicate the license number issued by the PRC. It's an SOP. Ito, wala pang IPO. So, wala pa tayong IPO number. So, okay lang, yung PTR will already include. More importantly, for us appraisers, we always put our PTR as updated every year that we pay. So, every time we go for a preparation of a written report form, narrative at that, we always include our PTR. And of course, to cooperate with the efficiency of the real estate profession, to endeavor to update. Ayan, kami rin nag-CCPD, we learn through studies and probably other courses that are being offered to enhance, improve, as we are also mandated to comply with the minimum requirements of getting information and to adapt ourselves to the changing techniques, methods of professional appraisal practice. Like us being educators too, we have to upgrade ourselves in the course of our sharing and exchanging information. That is also part of our obligation and duty to our fellow practitioners and more importantly to our IPO and other society activities too. Yan. To live and cooperate upholding integrity, honor of the profession, and the practice to respect selflessness. Huwag po natin pairalin ng sarili nating kapakanan kung hindi respetuhin natin ang dignidad ng pagkatao ng iba at sa kapakanan ng buong katauhan for the whole humanity. Let us not discriminate. Huwag po tayong maging bias sa race, religion, sex, whether you're Muslim, whether you're other denominations, whether you're lumang daan, bagong daan, sangandaan, o kung ano man ang status mo, let us not, of course, discriminate on them. Whatever is the requirement, we are one as a nation, we are one as a family, and of course, more importantly, let us not discriminate to those people whom we think should be discriminated. We should all give equal opportunities. Okay? And we not offer to pay split or rebate. Huwag po tayo makikipaghati ng commission or professional fees sa hindi lisensyadong tao. That's against. Explaining, discussing his work is also part of our self-laudatory advertisement or propaganda. Ayan. It is a dignified to explain, discuss his work, and shall refrain from self-laudatory. Sabi nga sa report writing, we do not have to use flowery words because that is bordering, of course, already something like unbiased. Pinagaganda mo, yun pala, hindi naman maganda yung sinasabi mo. Just to enhance or increase the value of properties. There should be no advertisement to allow, of course, the professional attainment. Kami po, public appraisers, like doctors too, they do not advertise. It's the clients whom we have served that will always come back to us because it's based on our reports, our technical reports and studies as consumed by our clients, and we normally accept. 90% of my clients are referrals from those who are previously satisfied with the services that I have rendered. So that's a unit measure of how credible we are and not to advertise. Publication or announcement are only permitted for opening offices or change of addresses, not for announcement. For katulad niyan, wag po tayong gagaya doon sa appraisal ng mga alahas. Help you appraise because we offer the highest appraisal. Announcement na yan, which is not valid and acceptable for us appraisers. We should always recognize the Almighty God, Supreme Being, as His our own Creator, to be guided with destiny and reason. Moral life, exemplary conduct of behavior of our practice of the real estate profession in dealing with others. Okay. And to act as witness in court, administrative proceedings, testimonies should be always equitable. When I appear to the court, I always feel that I should be equitable, I should be honest, sincere, and professional manner. So, sasabihin ko, I am independent. I find my report just, fair, reasonable. And I will never be intimidated or influenced by even my clients if there are offers or not. I stick to the sincerity and honesty of preparing within the context of the generally acceptable valuation standards and the exercise of ethical and professional responsibility as an appraiser. Ganda, no? Sanctions, of course, meron tayong penalties yan. Ito po yung mga sanctions natin if you are in violation. First offense, reprimand warning. Second offense, suspension of IPO membership. And third offense, separation or suspension of IPO membership for 4 months. And gradual po ito. Okay? And they recommend for suspension of the with PRC or PRB Risk Board of your registration and your membership. Okay? Habitual of this will be, of course, cancellation of your license by PRB Risk. Okay? Violation of Republic Act 9646, first offense, IPO membership for 4 months. Second offense, recommended for PRB Res. And of course, habitual will be recommended by PRB Res. Effectivity is now implemented as we are now using this as part and parcel of our code of ethics with responsibilities. Now we are open for a few questions until 5:30 to open the gallery, and maybe you can ask some few questions to enlighten those areas of concern that you might not be able to. Okay? So, again, I will ask a climate survey. Of course, I will have to admit that, Mr. Leonen is sometimes too fast as the words, and especially for the code of ethics, are too repetitive. So I cut short the paragraph and summarize it in the list that I can explain the meaning of that entire paragraph with examples, of course. So I hope that for this facilitation, review, and conduct of revisit of our subjects, that most of you probably have understood a little, if not a little more than, and understood, and probably will further enhance you in your learning process to probably get into the final examination. Meron pong questions about salesperson qualification. Is it 72 units and the other 2 years college? Wala pong specific provision of the law which says 70 units po. Talaga pong ang sagot dyan ay 2-year course. So, the CHED, of course, with your TOR will attest to that. The 2-year, it's not the units that has been there, but the 2-year, if you have completed 2 years in a graduate school, assuming that you have enrolled and you took a bachelor's degree in business administration, and you have complied already in your TOR, the 2 years period, get a certification from the registrar that you have complied with the 2-year to qualify. Also indicate in your application for your TOR the purpose of which it is a mandatory requirement for you to qualify as a salesperson. It did never mention a 72 units po. Sometimes they use that as a unit measure of the entire course. Kung 4 years, kasi meron tayong 4-year course, may 5-year course. Kung secretarial administration, 4-year course pa rin yan. If you have completed the prerequisite or any 2-year study for a 4-year course that you have completed the preparatory course leading to any degree and you're certified by the school with your TOR, present that and that will already qualify. They will still have to evaluate. Kaya nga mahigpit ang PRB res yan. Kasi sabi, 72, more than pa nga po, 82 eh. Di naman sinabing 82 kung irrespective naman dun sa topics na kinuha mo. Okay. But those closest to the real estate service practice profession are the ones that could be recognized. Minimum requirement po yun sa 2-year course. Okay? So it will be the certification of the registrars of this that you have complied. Any other question? So I encourage you not only to go for the 2-year, ituloy nyo na ang pag-aaral because that will be an investment for a lifetime and opportunities that will bring you will be for your future. Yung po bang listing agreement between seller and broker po, mag-start po ba ito sa MOA? O, meron tayong ATS, kaya kami, no examination namin sa brokers, prepare the types of authority. Okay, authority, exclusive right to authority. Meron tayong exclusive right, meron tayong exclusive, non-exclusive ATS, authority to sell. Pag yung exclusive right po, at kailangan meron kayong kulatilya doon na even after the expiry of your contract of authority to sell and you have registered within the period of your authority, then you will be entitled to the commission. Kasi i-register mo na, okay, yung kliyente mo. Even if your authority to sell has expired, if there is that additional information or contract that you have signed, you will still be exclusive right to sell. Even if the property is sold, of course, you will be entitled to commission, provided nga you have to register your buyers, at least. So, authority to sell, non-exclusive and exclusive right. Okay. Saan po siya i-register? Of course, kung ikaw ay acting for and in behalf of the owner, you have to register your buyer to the owner because you're acting for and in his behalf. So you have to negotiate. You are in between. Kaya nga i-register mo, Mr. Seller, ako po ay may buyer at nag-offer ng 10 million at gusto namin malaman kung meron pa tayong discount. And I will negotiate for and in your behalf depending upon your approval. Is it still okay? So you have to register that. You put in writing because that is now your reason to serve as being the procuring cost. The first thing that will be established for you to gain commission is you being the acting broker and the procuring cost. Eh kung narinig nila yan sa iba, dahil masyado kang madaldal, ikinalat mo, ichinismis mo, ay meron akong listing ganito. O di nauna sila, nag-register doon, that will complicate matters. Although wala silang authority, hihintayin nila ngayon. Kaya dapat alagaan din natin yung confidentiality of information, protecting your rights as a broker. Kaya hindi ka pwedeng magkalat ng magkalat. Kasi in the final end, magkakalat ka, ikaw din ang babalikan. So it's always nice to register. All transactions pertaining to negotiation during the negotiating period should all be in writing to become transparent. Kasi baka niluluto mo yung transaction, hindi alam nung seller mo. Kumusta na ba? Meron na bang bayad tayo? Katulad kahapon, I had to outrightly tell the listing, the agent, acting. Sabi ko, hindi ka naman ahente. Pamangkin ka lang, kamag-anak ka. So you have to give me the full authority. You give me all the documents, we will prepare the authority to sell. We're talking here of 20 hectares. 20 hectares at 2,000, that's 100 million. Okay? Kano ba yun? 20 hectares yun eh. Hindi. Tama. 20,000. 200,000 times 2,000. That's already 400 million. Okay? Sabi, sir, may buyer na ho ba kayo? Sabi ko, we follow the rules of procedure. Authority to sell, send me all the documents. At where is the title? It's being prepared by DNR, so that complicates things. So I had to outrightly answer him and say, give me all the documents, I will evaluate, we will prepare the authority to sell, okay? And, of course, what is the commission that they want to give? At sabi ba naman, sir, pwede bang ang magbibigay yung buyer ng commission? You see now how uneducated these people are. So in short, it's something like it's already getting into my nerves. So sabi ko, well, you have to understand them because ito yung kamag-anak na may-ari, gustong mag-ente, hindi nila alam na may batas. So I have to cite the law. Republic Act 9646, baka kamag-anak ka, makulong ka pa. Me, knowing well that I know the law and I have already told him what is supposed to be done, and still he went on doing his own thing. So I will not enter into that agreement to lose my integrity, and as we have discussed already lengthily on our conduct. I'm not interested in Kaya nga sa appraisal, sinasabi ko yan, never will I submit myself. I hold high my integrity. I will never sell my integrity, my reputation, my tree license, my family, the reputation of the name Rod Leonen, and those who carry the name Leonen will never be jeopardized because of my action, not even for $1 billion or $1 trillion US dollars. That is non-negotiable. So you see now how we stand, defend our principles, our standards, and the practice of the profession. So I hope that this is a lesson that you will also learn. But as we have discussed, I have given you already examples for you to better understand the applications of what Code of Ethics, and more importantly, the law that covers the practice of real estate service practice. So with that, my dear friends, I have another appointment with our office. So thank you very much for your listening pleasure. I look forward again to probably sharing more ideas on some of your nag-agree both parties but no payment yet. Is that consider meeting of the minds already? Ayan. Ang gandang tanong. O di ba, what are the requisites na meeting of the minds? Okay. There is the consideration. Paano ka makakakuha ng komisyon mo? Wala pang consideration, wala pang bayad. The three aspects that makes a good deal is to meeting of the minds, there is the consideration, and there is the subject. Pag sinabi mong subject, yung ginebenta mo ay malinis ba? Klaro ba? A property that should be sellable, mortgageable, transferable, and mortgageable or donatable should be free from any liens and encumbrances. That is within the context of the subject of documentation, verification, and title investigation. Due diligence as basic part of your duty and responsibility. So think of that. There are the three requisites. Obligations and contract din naulit yan. Okay? Meeting of the minds, object, and the consideration. Paano ka ngayon mangungumisyon dyan kung walang consideration, wala pang bayad? Yun ang importante. Pero siguraduhin mo, magbabayad sila, protect the interest of the buyer too, not only the interest. Baka mamaya may undisclosed, kaya nga may due diligence tayo. Title verification, investigation, due diligence to assert. Because we have learned that a title to be sellable, mortgageable, transferable, donatable, it should be first attribute that it should be free and clear under responsible ownership. Otherwise, if there's something annotated, list pendants, or etc., and it's not canceled, then you will be booked for misrepresentation. What if they have paid a down payment? 400 million, you are enticed. I will now pay 100 million immediately as down payment. What kind of down payment? Is that earnest money or ano yan? Earnest money or what we call buying your time, which is an advance, and the remaining 300 million will be paid later. Inaccept mo. Worst, dideposito muna sa account dahil hihintay mo i-deposito. That's already bordering also non-disclosure with the seller. You are holding on to the money that should be going to the property owner. So always be very careful with our actions, as we should be guided nga with the standards, procedures, and the rules and regulations on the conduct of the exercise. We might be enticed and, of course, overwhelmed by the commissions, but definitely we also have to protect. We might be the ire, of course, of syndicates that are operating out there. And normally, I have gone already into the transaction of 400 half billion to 1.7 billion. And I had to sacrifice and say, it's not all for money. Lesson learned. Our president, unlicensed, he went and negotiated thinking that he's being president of the corporation, a juridical entity of which we are directors. She forgot that she think otherwise. Nung mangolekta ng 60 million commission, siya pang dinimanda, in NBI pa. So it's not our fault. She only reported to us that, hey, we have to collect. Hey, why did you negotiate on your own? You're not licensed. We encouraged him to get her license. We gave him all the opportunity. But matigas ang ulo. Lesson learned, 60 million. Naulit pa. So my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, let us put in context what we are learning today, not for our aggressiveness to earn money, but we also have to protect our future, our professional identity as real estate service practitioner. Okay? So with that, thank you very much for your listening pleasure. And again, study hard, read and read, try to understand, do not memorize. You have to understand, more importantly, the definition of all terms. Use your DIC. Yan ang tip natin, dictionary. Meron tayong 2,000 words for those who might have not be able to avail. Pahiram naman. O, di ba? Pero naman, kukupiin lang natin yan para may reference. Burdahan mo lahat yung mga 1,000 words na closely related. Find all the words that came up with the 2015-16 examination, and of course, with the exception of those that have already been amended with recent developments, particularly on taxation and others, like changing of government agencies like the DSUD, and of course, amendment of some laws affecting valuation and appraisal, particularly in the application of expropriation, which is one of the limitations of property ownership in the acquisition of national project. Okay? So with that, maraming salamat po sa magagandang lalaki at magagandang bini-bini. Have a good day and God bless us all. Thank you very much. So, Alma,
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
bye-bye. Okay.